Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of the Warp Views podcast. Today is just going to be a little mini episode, so please try to follow along. Even though it is a mini episode, it's full of a ton of information. Let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't even really know on it. But Strap is very, very knowledgeable when it comes to cars, so we decided to indulge just a little bit in the basic knowledge that I know and the extensive knowledge that he knows about cars. If you do like this, please leave a 5-star review on Spotify. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please like and subscribe so then you guys get every single notification that we give whenever we get out an episode. As well, please use code WARPED at w.gg for any type of energy needs that you will need. I promise you will not be disappointed, and every little bit helps when it comes to making this podcast as well. So we thank you guys so much. Let's get into the episode. So it's nice. Third floor is pretty nice in that regard. But the thing is when we go upstairs, the freaking stairs are so wobbly. Strap, when you come over here, I'll show you. They're so wobbly. It's kind of ridiculous. Like they shake so bad.
That is such an.
I'm imagining the bridge over the lava in the first Shrek movie.
Literally, it literally shakes back and forth pretty hard.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It makes for a good day. No, but I'm literally just waiting for the stairs just to collapse so I can sue and, never have to work again,
Yeah, you don't even need a vacation, dude. You have half a roller coaster on your way to and from work every day.
You have a point. You do have a point. I every time I go down the stairs, I'm like, woo! And then I'm like, oh, I gotta go to work. It's a very 0 to 60 mentality going down these stairs. And then back to 0, sadly.
Absolute roller coaster of emotions just getting out the front door. And then you get to the bottom and you're like, all right, dude, let's go to work.
All right, let's go. I'm not going to lie. So my car, I've got an Audi A6. It's a supercharged V6, which is pretty great.
Sounds like a race car.
Dude, my lord, I got a race car. I love driving it. It's so much fun to drive, but I literally live like 5 minutes from where I work, so it's just like, okay, I'm there. Like it, no time at all. I'm already there.
Dude, so I'm only gonna be staying 5 minutes away from you?
No, like literally, where you're staying is like right at the point of where I turn into work.
Yes, dude, I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love that for us.
I love that for us, dude. But you know what's crazy? So one thing that's been crazy to me that I'm like, who would I talk to about this? And I'm like, you know what? Strap. I'll talk to Strap about this.
Who would you what?
Who would I talk to about like car, like this car topic I'm like thinking of right now. I'm like, Strap.
Okay.
So recently they've come out with a brand new Hyundai I think it's the Sonata N-Line with, I think it's got a 2.5 liter turbo engine. And the crazy thing about it is, 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo. Where did you go? I literally just had it pulled up and it disappeared.
I'm still sitting here.
Oh, you're right there. Are you there? Are you? No, so, okay, listen to this. Literally a 2.5 liter, the top of the line model that they have. Guess how fast this thing is. Like, guess how much power this thing makes.
Is that which one did you say, the Sonata?
Yeah, 2022 Hyundai Sonata N-Line.
Is that like their little 4-door sedan or something, or
so it's I believe it's their mid-sized, if not their full.
Okay. Well, I can imagine it's pretty small and pretty light still, but I mean Ford has a 2.7 boosted 4-banger in their Rangers now.
Yeah.
And those things kind of scoot. So I can imagine that thing is even lighter and more aerodynamic, so it's probably a lot faster. And dude, the fuel economy is through the motherfucking roof.
No, that's what I'm saying. So just based on this, so yeah, 2.5 liter inline 4 has a turbo. But the turbo is kind of cool. So you have the headers on just one side because it's a 4-cylinder. It's not like it's going to go anywhere.
Yes.
So out the bottom, 2 cylinders on one side, 2 cylinders on the other. They're split down the middle of where the exhaust goes. And so the turbo is made like that too. So the inlet of the turbo is split in two. Yeah.
The header is split in two. Okay, so I'm trying to imagine this because my truck was basically the same. It was inline six. It was a Cummins, so it was inline six, and the whole header was all one piece, like a big long brick.
Yeah.
With just a little spout sticking out for the turbo to mount up to.
Mm-hmm.
If you got anything that was aftermarket as far as headers go, it would be like, it was an exhaust manifold, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
It was individual pipes from each cylinder running into the one collector going into the turbo.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what it's like? But there's still only one mounting point for the turbo.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like there are two separate, technically like entries to the turbo, but it's all in the same mounting point.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So I guess with the exhaust going into it to spool it up, there's like a little bit of there's like less drag in it, I guess, which I guess makes it spin faster.
Yes. So it makes it a lot more efficient, but also it's really big for cooling and getting. Do you know what scavenging? I think is what it's called.
Mm-mm.
I don't remember what it's called, but so if you have headers and it's just a straight long piece, and it's like the pipes coming off of the headers are different lengths. So like you have a farther distance to travel from obviously the first and fourth going to the turbo as opposed to the second and third.
Mm-hmm.
It causes like a weird vacuum effect.
Okay.
So it's like, since it takes so much longer for the outside cylinders to reach the turbo, your second and third exhaust, it could pump out exhaust faster than the other ones. So it's like there's a weird like back pressure, and then also like it's just inefficient. So a lot of times aftermarket headers, that's why you look at like if you look at like long tube headers or even short tube headers, like aftermarket stuff, you always have the outside ones running straight to the collector, and then the middle two always have like extra piping to make it longer.
Mm-hmm.
That way it's like every cylinder has the same amount of time to push the exhaust through. That way it's literally a vacuum pulling the next cylinder's exhaust out, because it makes it more efficient and gets it out of the engine faster. So
got it. Interesting.
And then also obviously with turbos, since they are spooled off of exhaust pressure, the faster and more efficient you can get air out of your engine, the faster you can spool up your turbo to push new air in.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like honestly, the way that they work is just ridiculous. But that's also why you look at boats. Boats don't work with turbos because you need back pressure for a turbo to work. Or not back pressure. You need the engine to be under load. Because like if you're on, let's say you're driving on the street and your engine is working really hard to move your wheels, you have that resistance, you have that load on your engine driving, and the bigger the load, the more exhaust pressure you have, so it spins your turbo real fast. When you're in a boat and you have no load to put on the engine, it just spools up real fast and throws water everywhere. Your turbos don't spool fast enough to actually charge the air going in. That's why you need superchargers.
Okay.
So if you ever look at like performance boats, sometimes they'll have both, but they'll never only have turbos. It's because they don't work enough without the load.
Interesting. Yeah, that's cool to know.
I have no idea what we started with on that.
No, yeah. So back into where we were. So how much power do you think this 2022 Hyundai Sonata makes? Just 2.5 liter inline four with a turbo.
325.
No, that's actually more than I was expecting you to say. It makes 290.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, so 290, which is just insane. So I have a 2012 Audi A6. It's got a 3-liter B6 with a supercharger. How much horsepower do you think that thing makes?
Wait, it's got a what?
It's got a 3-liter supercharged V6.
What?
Supercharged V6.
As a 2012.
I'm going to guess that your car is very light.
Oh, it's an Audi. It's a boat. It's got...
Yeah, but Audis aren't Audis like high performance?
No, a lot more of like the the 4 and 5. The 6, 7, and 8 are a little bit more luxury. Like, I mean, the 7's a little bit more performance
more
still.
high-end stuff.
Yeah, so the 6 and the 8 are primarily like cruising cars, like kind of like the touring models type of a thing.
Okay, well, even V6 with a supercharger, I'm gonna say 365.
No,
Is it higher than that? Like way higher?
no, it's lower.
Really? Like, is it in the 340s?
No, lower than that.
Low than that? Is it in the twos or is it still in threes?
Still in the 3s.
315.
310.
Damn it.
So, well, that's the crazy thing to me. I looked this up the other day because I was like, well, not the other day. It's been like a few months since I've kind of like have been thinking about this. So yeah, 2012 Audi A6 with a supercharged V6 3-liter engine makes 310
Yep.
horsepower, 325 pound-feet of torque, right?
Okay.
2022 Hyundai Sonata N-Line, and keep in mind, mine's a 4-wheel drive too. Like mine's all-wheel drive. 2022 Hyundai Sonata N-Line, 2.5 liter, inline 4, turbocharged, makes only 20 less horsepower, and it's a front wheel drive car too. Like in 10 years, that same inline 4 engine, of course, a lot of normal inline 4 engines are mainly like 1.5 to like 2. This is a little bit bigger, sure. But it's pumping out 290 horsepower. And it's literally it gets way better gas mileage than my car. My car, per like everything that it says on here, 19 to 28 city highway. On here, this one's 23 and 33.
Yeah, that's wild, bro.
Like that, I don't know why I keep thinking about that. I'm like, how come I have a supercharged freaking V6 and this is a tiny little inline 4 with a turbo and it's almost as fast as my car? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. That's pretty crazy to think about too, because like, I know that in 2011, 2012, when Ford came out with their EcoBoost, it was the V6 that they were putting in the truck.
Yeah.
When that thing first came out, granted it was a twin turbo V6, it was outperforming in almost all aspects. All the different companies' trucks. The EcoBoost was beating every other company as a V6. It was beating all of the other V8s in the trucks, like for the other companies. As far as fuel economy goes, as far as towing capacity goes, as far as power goes.
Yeah.
And it was insane. Like there was people that were like, you know how people just do like these dumb kind of tests where it's like they'll do like drag races with a trailer or something like that,
Sure.
or stuff like that, whatever. So they would do the EcoBoost versus like the Dodge with a Hemi in it, right, with a V8, and it'd be like off the line, destroys them. Like quarter mile or whatever, top speed destroys them. Fuel economy while towing destroys them. It was insane how good this EcoBoost was. And it was funny too, because it was like nobody seemed to understand it at the start, because like everybody was like, oh well, it's still a V6. I don't know if I would trust it for like the everyday use, or like for lifespan for like towing or something, if you tow all the time.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is like, as time goes on, there is still no downside. Everybody that I know that has an EcoBoost engine, they absolutely love it, and it's like it still outperforms like other vehicles in the class. And I really don't know how it does it, but for some reason when you put turbos on small engines, it makes efficiency just shoot through the roof. It is unreal. But even power though, because you get power and efficiency out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, but it just does. But like,
Yeah.
Also, if I had to guess though, if it comes down to like, I mean, obviously power to weight ratio. So that was probably one aspect. It's probably a lot lighter than a lot of other things because it doesn't have as heavy of an engine. But then also it's like, when you have something that is forced induction, so like whether it's supercharged or turbocharged, the best way to maximize efficiency is having zero back pressure in the exhaust. So like if that's why you look at like trucks that are like, like big diesel trucks, when they have turbos,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need exhaust. A lot of people will have like, not a lot of people, but like guys that race their trucks per se. Like you have the diesel drags and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have exhaust stacks coming straight up through the hood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like right after the turbo. Because the thing is, the least amount of resistance possible is the most efficient when you have, especially turbos. But like if you have something that's naturally aspirated, you need back pressure. So that's why you need to have some kind of resistance. You need some kind of muffler, or you need a certain diameter of exhaust and a certain length of exhaust.
Okay.
Which is actually pretty interesting also, because like even that, there's a certain threshold. This is a very deep rabbit hole that we can go into.
Yeah.
But like obviously, but like with drag cars, like a lot of drag cars are naturally aspirated.
Yeah.
You just have really, real big, beefy, like let's say you have a Chevy 454 or like a 572 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
These are big, massive V8s. A lot of them are carbureted,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those guys, the way that they find out how long they need the exhaust to be is like they'll have their headers coming out to the bottom of the car, and then they'll have just a straight, big, girthy exhaust pipe running to the back of the car. And what they do is they'll run like one or two passes down the strip, and then they'll come back and they'll put candle wax along the top of the exhaust.
Oh.
And then they'll do another pass. Wherever that candle wax stops melting, that's where they cut the exhaust off. It's interesting how things like that, with how far technology has come,
Mm-hmm.
you would think there would be a more scientific way to find out how long your exhaust needs to be.
Yeah.
But I think it's just been like such a traditional way to do it, and they've been doing it for so long, and it works.
Yeah.
That like people they won't stop. Like
Yeah.
they're just like, yeah, it's not broke. Why would we fix it?
Yeah, I get that. One thing that I thought would be super cool. So, like, I would love to like work on cars, kind of figure out cars, how they work, stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel like if like my engine goes out in my car for whatever reason, I would love to figure out how to put like an electric motor in it and just see how fast I can make my car.
Yeah.
But I feel like how cool would it be to fully figure that out and just have like a lockdown on it that you could throw that into any car, program it, and like send it on its way. That would be so crazy to do. That's one thing that I like keep thinking about. I'm like, if that's like our future, if our future is going to be going to electric, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not try to figure that out?
That's the crazy thing too, dude, is like just the amount of fabrication that you would need to learn.
Yeah.
Just to even like get something like that to fit inside of a car.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because you got to think like you have to replace everything except for the body of the car.
Basically. Well, yeah, because you're basically replacing what? So you're getting rid of the engine. You can put in a single motor, you can put in dual motors, whatever is kind of suited to you. And then you would need to put in basically all the battery cells. On top of that, you would need like some sort of coilovers, springs that would basically be able to hold that much weight so your car just doesn't drag on the OEM stuff that you have.
Yeah.
And then you have to fix like crap, what is that called? I can't even remember. It's the thing that like kind of holds your what is it called? I can't even think what it's called. Like it's like behind it's what holds like the brakes and everything up.
You're talking about like all the brackets, like the
just like all the brackets that are in there.
the hub is in there.
Yeah.
You got your wheel hubs are in there, and then you got like the whole whatever bracket system is going on inside of that, like your steering and suspension.
Is it a ball joint? I don't think so.
No, your ball joints are like.
That's
what usually the control arms are.
Oh, the control arms. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, probably.
Is it? Yeah. The control arm. That's one thing that I hear goes a lot in a Tesla because of how heavy it is. The control arms go like all the time.
Huh.
Well, and on top of that, you're because of how heavy it is, you're replacing your tires a lot more frequently. So that also kind of sucks.
I guess. Yeah. That's interesting, dude. I always thought electric cars would be a lot lighter.
Oh no, that battery is heavy. But
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
heavier than like an entire engine and transmission.
yeah. Hold on, let me look. I'm gonna look up how much a Tesla battery weighs. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, because then I'm not sure how big the motors are. A Tesla car battery weighs about 1,000 pounds. How much would like an LS engine weigh? LS 460. Yeah. So if that's like
Dude, 460? No way,
460 pounds, yeah.
Crazy. I can lift that.
What an LS7? LS7. LS7 is
I don't know. Well,
454.
I feel like it depends.
Dude,
They're beefy boys.
I still have my dream of putting an LS engine in a Datsun. I would love that, like a 280ZX. That'd be so sick.
Yeah,
It's a dream.
that'd be pretty sick.
But yeah, just
And
the
like
battery.
what is it? What does Datsun have? What do they have? Like the 240s or 280s or something like that?
Yeah, they've got 240s, 260s, and 280. They have a 280Z and then a 280ZX.
Okay, what am I doing?
How much does a Tesla motor weight? On the high end, it's 100 and what is that? 198 pounds. And on the low end, it's like 90 pounds.
Mhm.
So let's say you're doing dual motors because you want to have if you want to have all-wheel drive. So
Just
dual
want to race car?
motors, 180. Tesla battery, you're probably gonna have to put almost the entire battery on at least, and then with that you basically get, I would assume, maybe 300 miles, let's say. So if you're to do half of that to try to save a little bit of weight, you're only looking at like 150-mile range, which kind of sucks. But I mean, at the same time, your charging is probably gonna be really quick. But yeah, that
Yeah.
sucker's heavy.
You know what really sucks? You know what really sucks to think about with electric cars too?
What?
What happens if you're driving across the country and you have to charge your car? You can't just stop and like put gas in it for a couple of minutes and then keep driving. You have to wait for that bitch to charge.
Yeah. I know that what Teslas can do, so you can do like a road trip. I don't think it's like a road trip setting, but you can just do like a start point and an end point if you're traveling anywhere in the navigation system. They're pretty good models, like electronically, like technologically. They can hook up to like your home's Wi-Fi or like your phone, even when like you hook up through Bluetooth. They can kind of auto update from there, as far as I've heard. Because then what you can do from there, it basically will just auto update using like Google Maps, stuff like that. So using Google Maps or whatever maps it decides to use, if let's say I'm going from here to St. George, I think the only Tesla charging station between us is in Beaver. I think there's a place in Beaver that has it. So it'll basically calculate if you would even need to stop, and if you do need to stop, where you would need to go and how many miles left you would have at that point, kind of a thing. So
Okay.
but that's the thing. It was like last week I saw a TikTok video of this guy who basically just put covers over all of his Tesla chargers because Tesla wasn't paying him the rent on the having the chargers on his gas station property.
Oh, I didn't know they were supposed to. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense, but that's just interesting. Like I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I know that like their dealerships and stuff, you can probably like just go up and just pay like you normally would at like any type of charging station, unless it's at like your home or something. But I believe at other places where you like they would need to be set up, they have to pay rent on. And apparently, according to this guy, they hadn't paid in like a couple months. So pretty crazy. And boom, just like that, now you have just a little bit more knowledge about cars in your back pocket. If you already knew all of that stuff, thanks for listening. Remember, guys, use code WARPED, WARPED, at checkout when you're checking out at W.GG. Get yourself some energy. Feel better. Get something that makes you feel better. And W Energy is definitely that one right there. Please like, follow, share this everywhere. Leave comments about what you want us to talk about. There's stuff that sometimes we just are kind of rambling on about. Give us something to talk about because we want to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.